Hey YouTubers, this is Jacques. I just want to talk to you a little discussion about photography gear and nailing the shot. Hey YouTubers, I've been browsing the internet last night. Most specifically, I was looking at a lot of the suggested videos I was getting on YouTube, and two came up probably because of the content I create. Was the Canon 6D Mark II and the Nikon D850. I went and checked out a lot of these videos just to see what they were all about, and a lot of them were about how the Nikon D850 is a fantastic camera, how the Nikon D850 sucks, how Nikon is going down the drain and they don't know what they're doing, how the 6D Mark II is not as bad as people think, how the 6D Mark II sucks, how Canon is going down the drain and is going to be bankrupt. The biggest observation I made when I looked at these videos is the following. 95% of the arguments on these videos were like spec related. They had to deal with specifications of the camera. The focus points on the 6D are not wide enough, they're not spread out enough. The D850 doesn't offer enough for the price you have to pay. You hear that a lot. You hear people saying, well, the D850 will not be able to nail the market with Sony. Well, here's the deal with all of this. All these spec arguments are okay and they make a lot of sense if you want to buy a camera and have a camera with the most specs on it. But what happened to taking a picture? Like going out and taking a shot. I spoke to one of my fellow YouTubers about the 6D Mark II and the whole dynamic range thing. Everyone's freaking out on the fact that it has no dynamic range, that you can't recuperate 11 stops or whatever. What happened about just going out and nailing your exposure, getting it right the first time? So how come nobody's talking about how these cameras will and will not work within your workflow? How you work. Like, I'm a videographer, I need 4K or I need 1080p, and the buttons are placed in the right place, the ergonomics, availability of glass. You don't hear these conversations enough. You just don't hear them enough, and it drives me nuts after a while to hear all these people talking about all these specs and low light performance. And you know, I had a 6D Mark I, that 6D, which for a lot of reasons was abysmal, but you know what? I found a way to use it the whole time and I got fantastic shots. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best photographer in the world, but I found a way to work with it because ergonomically it kicked ass. Nikon is the same thing. Ergonomically they kick ass. And you can take these cameras and use them within your workflow. My point being the following. I mean, we hear this a lot, but we gotta hear it more often. That specs aren't the only thing. One of the best examples of that is the A7S. The A7S can literally see in the dark. So it blows away many other cameras for low light sensitivity and capacity to give you great resolution in low light situations. But what does that give you? When do you as a person see in the dark? Now, I'm not putting down the camera, because what happens is if you get that low light performance at really low levels of lux, you will be able to get sharper images when you have to push that camera. That's true. It's a great argument. But some of the stuff people are coming out with. Wait, I gotta check my exit. Now, here is a crazy, crazy notion. I'm gonna get like blasted for this. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I think most people should just look for a camera that ergonomically speaks to them. For instance, a Canon. Where are the buttons placed? Can you work with function buttons and all that stuff? And work with that. That's the only thing you got to work with. Your ability to learn a camera, learn its ins and outs, learn its faults and its strong points, and be able to integrate that into capturing pictures. You want to capture pictures. Capture pictures, captures emotions, and get that stuff on film and communicate them. Or on a hard drive or whatever. Is that good? Oh, no, that's good.